very much, Chairperson. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the presentations. And I'm not going to interrogate each of them, but I just want to appreciate the fact that the presentations have come here and a lot of work has gone into them. And they give us some thought-provoking things to tackle going forward. So they actually make our jobs a little bit easier as we as committees take them forward and help us to ask the right questions of the right people in the right places. So I certainly just wanted to voice my appreciation. And I think Dion has adequately covered the questions that came out of Saika's presentation, which leave us a little bit of time to pause for reflection on our role. The one presentation I'm going to ask a question on is Mr. Engel's presentation from SAIT. And perhaps not necessarily a question, but emphasize and maybe ask for further input from his side, and perhaps from the others if they choose to give their inputs on this. But the current balance of power in the relationship with SARS that many people are struggling with. And Mr. Engel spoke about taxpayer rights and the fact that people and entities are being steamrolled by SARS. And as much as I think we're applauding the work that SARS is doing, and make no mistake, I think that all of us are currently grateful for the fact that SARS is on the road to recovery and doing a particularly good job under the circumstances, over-collecting, perhaps as a result of the economic upturn in specific sectors, but also because of the fact that there's a little bit more discipline coming back into SARS, and people are getting back to doing what they're supposed to do there. I think that the Commissioner is certainly on the right track from my perspective. But this issue of taxpayers feeling that they're being steamrolled. Now, on the one hand, I think, and I know that the Chair has voiced this in the past, that people don't really like to pay tax, so they kind of avoid it as far as possible. But effectively, I think that there's a mature enough relationships with many taxpayers and certainly with business entities where they understand that there's a need to pay tax and they understand that there's a need for relationships with SARS. However, the balance of power in that relationship is currently very, very skewed. And whenever you as a business lodge a query with SARS, you get the response, well, hold on, 21 days. And after 21 days have expired, you might, or you probably won't, get an answer. So then you escalate it. You get advised to escalate it, and then there's another 21 days that are given for the escalation process. If you don't get a response after 21 days from the escalation process, or if the response is inadequate, you then are advised to lodge a complaint. That complaint period is 21 days. Okay, so now effectively you're pretty much 3 months down the line, and you haven't resolved your issue yet. And this has particularly become an issue around some of the larger VAT refunds where there's audit requirements, et cetera, it's really problematic when a small business is out of pocket for 3 to 4 months on the basis of these investigations. And really, the two aspects I want to pick up on is the fact that, firstly, SARS seems to be very reluctant to communicate via email, making it quite difficult to establish a paper trail, and also making it difficult to kind of have a sequence of events which is easily referred to. And, you know, when SARS takes a decision, it's very often not the case that you have 21 days to respond. You're required to respond in a much shorter period of time. And if you don't, well, the big stick comes out and, of course, hits you in the back pocket. So, yeah, I just want to place that matter on the table, and perhaps appreciate Mr. Engel's inclusion of the fact that taxpayer rights are something that we really need to consider. Oh, and of course, then we've got the Ombudsman that also gets involved. But guess what? 21 days. Thank you, Chair.